Hello, it's Gloria with Glory Be Resale, and I am here to do a what sold from March 16th to 22nd on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Etsy. And the first thing to sell, and maybe the top sale this week, was this vintage West Germany art pottery Fat Lava Bay ceramics large handled vase from the 1960s. And this here I just recently changed. I've had this a while. I'd say a year and a half to 2 years. And I recently just changed it. This is what I had showing, just the vase. I changed it to put in the scene of a living 1960s living room, and it sold pretty quickly after that. So whether that had anything to do with it, I don't know, but I'm gonna say yes. And this sold for 249. No, this I sent out an offer because they had liked it for $211.65, and the cost to me on it was $23. So that was a very nice profit. Next item to sell was this Nick and Zoe black knit sweater swimwear cover-up, and this sold for $23.20. Cost to me was $6.49. Uh, an all right sale, I guess. I really just wanted to get rid of it. I think black sometimes is just hard to show. I could have put this on somebody, but maybe it just sold before I ever got to it. Next item to sell, another one that I just put on um, a model from the 1980s. And this is a vintage Miss Chouse gold button-down fuchsia pink dress with long sleeves. And this sold for the $29 I was asking for. Cost to me on it was $1. Next item to sell was this pair of brass tulip candlestick holders. And these, I think, usually come in a set of 3. And so I decided to just price them reasonably compared to everything I saw out there for sale. I put them up for $26 and they sold within 24 hours. And the cost to me on them was $6. Next item to sell. Now we're over on to Poshmark. And if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Just gives me the incentive to go on. Thank you. And next item to sell was this Isabel maternity maxi dress. I have had this forever. I was so glad to see it sell. I picked it up because it was new with tags a couple of years ago. I don't know the brand. It could be sold at Walmart for all I know, but somebody sent me an offer of $16 and I was happy to take it. Cost to me was $5.99 and I wanted it gone and I wanted my money back. Next item to sell was this Liz Claiborne rust sleeveless button down jumpsuit. And this sold for the full asking price of $30. Cost to me on it was $6.49. Next item to sell was this vintage wooden spice rack with 7 jars. And this sold for $33, and the cost to me on it was $8. Next item to sell was this pair of Doc Martens brown leather clogs. and size 7, and these sold for $32. And the cost to me on them was 0. I had bought these a while ago for myself, and they just didn't fit. I used to be a 7, then I broke my ankle in 3 places with the pins and the plates and, probably some weight gain. They didn't fit. Anyway, so happy to see them go, $32. I just listed them, so they weren't really up very long either. So, nice quick sale. Next item to sell was this vintage 80s wooden heart shell. Um, and this sold for $15. Cost to me on it was $1. The next item to sell was this Coach brown braided leather belt, size 32 inches, and this sold for $35, and the cost to me on it was $3. Next item to sell was this vintage 70s large orange macrame uh, with brown wood beads in it. Plant hanger, and happy to see it go. I've had it a couple of years. There was a time I was selling them a lot quicker, probably a couple of years ago, but this sold for $30. Cost to me on it was $5. It was also orange, so that might be a tough sell too. Next item to sell was this Woolovers royal blue pocket dress, lager look dress, and this sold for $24. I'm gonna say that I sent an offer out on that, or that's what they offered me, and I happily took it. I also just put on a model. I've had it a while, and it's just a lager look dress. So it sold for $24, and the cost to me was $6.49. Next item to sell on Mercari, and the only thing to sell on Mercari, was this vintage candle holder, wooden candle holder, colonial style from, I'd say, the 70s, possibly the 80s, but most likely 70s. And this sold for $11. Cost to me on it was $1. Next item to sell over to Etsy was this set of Irish coffee glasses. There's a set of 6 of them, and these sold for $30. I was very happy because I did not get these up until I think the 11th of March, and this is kind of something I wanted to get up for St. Patrick's Day, so I was late. And they sold after St. Patrick's Day. But they sold for $30. Cost to me was 5, and I'm happy to get rid of them. Next item to sell was this pair of Siamese cats, and these cats sold for $36. Cost to me on them was $10. I put them up 45, and I ran a sale within like 2 days of listing them, and they went pretty quickly when they went on sale. They probably would have sold with 45, but that's okay. Happy to get rid of things, right? Next item to sell was this vintage gingerbread glass front shelf. Had a little door that opened, and you could, it's a knick-knack shelf or whatever. I don't know what you want to put in there, but um, this sold for $111.20, and the cost to me on it was $5. So nice profit on that. And that didn't take very long either. Something that's been sitting in my garage, I was looking through a pile and was like, oh, didn't even know I had it. Put it up and it sold fairly quickly. I can't say exactly how long, but I'd say within the month. Next item to sell was this pair of ruffled brass vases, and these sold for $45. And I'm going to say the cost to me was maybe $10. I'd say that was the most. I just don't remember. These were in my booth. I tried to sell them there. Didn't sell, so I brought them back home, listed them, and made $45. Because I'm guessing they were probably in my booth for maybe 25. Next item to sell was this vintage 1990s Bombay multicolor beaded basket. I just thought it was very cute. Picked this up at a yard sale last summer, and this sold for the $35, and the cost to me on it was $4. Next item to sell was this Rosalind Wheeler faux bird figurine, folk art style, and this sold for $14.40, and the cost to me on it was $1.99. And the last item to sell was this pair of goblets that I don't remember where I picked them up, but I paid $10 for them, and I sold these for $36. So, and I don't normally, I think I picked these up at the time to put on to Cherish at a little higher price, but I never did. They were sitting in my garage for a long time, so I just put them up to see if I could get rid of them, and they sold fairly quickly after I finally listed them, so I'm happy with that. And if you're still here, I hope you've given me a like and subscribe. And that is everything that I sold for the week of March 16th to the 22nd. Um, I may do a video of Cherish. I don't sell very often on there. It's slow for me. I don't list very often there either, but I have enough things on there, and I just find it very slow. But every so often, it does sell, and it sells for good prices. So I may do a video just to show you some of the things I've sold. It'll have to be like 6 months just to make it long enough. Um, so I will see you next time, and I hope your sales are fantastic. Bye.